Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peaks Peak. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lucas, and we are sharing our hobbies here on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. And today I'm up in the wood yard with my MS250 to talk to you about tuning on chainsaws. Now, specifically tuning on the MS250 because it's a pretty primitive setup on the carburetor. It's also a pretty safe saw to be tuning on for the most part because your fuel mixture settings are pretty limited. So I talked about my saw running way too rich, and I did some tuning on it and was able to improve the performance drastically. Now, the majority of the improvement I got is the fact that I wasn't regularly cleaning the air filter and it was filthy, and that was causing it to run way too rich. Now, I did tweak the adjustments just a little bit, but you're only going to be able to affect the performance of the saw a little bit with the carburetor that's on these. Most saws, you know, you have your high and low adjustment screws on your carburetor, and then you have your idle screw, and your high and low screws will screw way in and way out. So you adjust them by tuning them all the way in and then backing them out about 2.5 turns each on the high and the low screws, and then you kind of fine tune from there. But on the MS250, I want to show you, you know, if you go in here to the low, you get her set in the low screw, my adjustment settings literally are, that is all the way loose, all the way rich, and 3/4 of a turn is all the way lean. So I have really very limited tuning that I can do on that. Same thing with your high setting. So we are set right there. I can go, okay, I've got it turned all the way out right now, and that's as rich as it will go, and I can get 3/4 of a turn. So they have limits on these, and I've actually found that I mean, I still want to run it relatively rich because I don't want to burn the saw up. In order to make sure that you're not running it too lean, several people suggested that I pick one of these up, and I'm glad they did because I had it just a touch lean. I was running about 14,000 RPMs, and that's probably a little stout for this saw. 13.5 is probably as high as I want this thing revving out. So I'm going to just show you real quick how these adjustments work on this. Now, your bottom screw down here is your idle speed, and in order to get your idle set, I've got mine set at about 2,700 RPMs, and that works about right for this saw. So I've actually already got it warmed up, but so right now with my settings where I've got them, getting right at 13,000 RPMs. And if I richen it up just a little bit, got about 12,800, and I want about 13.5. So I'm gonna lean it out just a little bit. That's about 13.6 right there. And our idle's running about 26.60. We can go up just a hair. It's 27.30 right there. So that right there has the saw idling at just around 2,700 RPMs, topping out at 13,500 RPMs. And I think that's about where I want it. But like I said, you have minimal adjusting. I actually, like I said, when I first got this out and put the tachometer on it, the way I had it tuned before, I was running about 14,300, 14,500 RPMs, and I don't want to run it quite that hard. I just tuned it by listening to it to begin with, and I knew it sounded like it was screaming, and I felt like I wouldn't overdo it, and so I just left it at that. But after a few of you suggested a tachometer, I thought that's probably a good idea. And then I had some people ask me if I would share how I went about tuning the saw. And this method is not how I tuned it to begin with. I tuned it by the sound of the engine and got it running where I felt like it was running the best. And that's maybe not the safest way to go about it. So if you want to tune your saw, this was like 15 bucks on Amazon, maybe 17, and it comes with a wire that you can clip it right on your ignition, your spark plug wire, and it'll give you the readout, and it's really simple. I'm glad I did that, and it should make this saw a little bit safer to run now, as far as, you know, not burning it up, because if you run a two-stroke too lean, it will burn it up in a hurry. I know that from dirt bikes and things like that. So that really is about all I know in terms of tuning the Stihl MS250. But I just kind of wanted to do a video on this, not because I'm an expert, because I'm not. In fact, I watched several of the videos that different viewers suggested to me about tuning chainsaws. And I'll give special mention to one, Chickanic, I guess is how you say that. You know, she's a chick mechanic, and she knows her stuff. And she has some great videos on tuning chainsaws, but those carburetors on the saws that she was tuning were a little bit different than this kind of homeowner grade saw here. So I thought I would just share with you how this works, what the screws are that you adjust with, and also how important it is to check your RPMs and not over rev the saw. I built this table for my MS362 with a 25-inch bar, so it's not really designed for that little bar. Kind of have to work it, but overall, it does a pretty good job. And the MS250 is a decent saw now because it's tuned up, so yeah, good deal. Hope you guys find this helpful. I appreciate you all watching. Listen, until next time, don't forget to get outside and enjoy God's creation, because it is beautiful out here. You all have a good day.